All right, guys, welcome back to Wealth and Travel on a Dime. And it's been a while, but we wanted to hold off before making a video because something very important has happened. And that's that we have achieved financial independence. Now, it's important to realize that nothing in this video is financial advice. We're just sharing our journey and what happened to get us here in a very broad overview. More videos will be coming explaining it all out, but it's also important to remember financial independence means completely different things for everybody. So
In our case, it means that, as you all know, if you've seen our post, I do quite a bit of gig work. Now I don't have to go do gig work. So if I get up in the morning, I choose to go, I go. If I don't, then I don't need to. We have enough money there that we do not have to worry about that. If Tony decides to take a construction job on the side because he's bored, he won't be bored. But if he decides to, then he can take it and make a little bit of extra cash. But if he doesn't want to do any of those things, then he doesn't have to. He can just work here on the farm.
that's right. Now, this didn't happen overnight. This is not a get rich quick scheme. We've been at this for a long time. The history of this goes back a long time.
So the history of this really started about 10 years ago whenever we decided that we were going to pay off our property, because me and Tony are the type of people that we don't like debt at all. And I know some people don't advise you to pay off your property, but that was a big goal for us. And we actually achieved that almost to the exact date 5 years ago.
That's right. So, 10 years ago we made this decision, and 5 years later we made it happen. And now 5 years sitting forward, we're financially independent. So I really don't think that you can look at this and think that it just miraculously happened. It all was part of the PEG system, the way it worked out. So anyone that tells you paying off your mortgage is not a good idea, there's two sides of that coin. That's not always true. Sometimes it is the fast track to getting to where you need to be, just depending on how you stress over money. Now, about 5 years ago exactly, we also really got into the FIRE movement. We were watching videos about it, movies were made about it, and the idea of being able to choose what we did with our time was the most appealing thing to us. So fast forward 5 years later, we have achieved what we consider financial independent. And I think that when you look at our history, it's just our personal opinion on how to do things. I can tell you there's 100 people that could figure out a faster way to do it than we have. And we're actually helping some people try to make that dream come true for them, and they have even shorter timelines. So it's all about what you're wanting to set up your life to look like. Now, with that said, we kind of need to explain to you how we're doing this, because there's going to be a lot of videos breaking down every single thing, but we're going to go a little lighter on this one and give you a brief overview that should give you enough information to understand.
You mean there's no money tree that we just go out there and pick it off of?
If there was, we'd have orchards of them growing. So, our first thing we need to talk about, honey, is
Our dividends and options. Now,
yes,
this is a big part,
that's our bread and butter.
and this is how we're going to live. We're going to go over some numbers real quick, just so that you have an idea of what our dividends and our options bring in monthly. And we've worked very hard on this. Okay, so I'm going to have to read this off my phone because, guys, I can't remember these numbers. In October, on our options, we made $2,586. On dividends, we made $9,463. So our total income on options and dividends for the month of October was $12,049. In November, we made $7,420 on options. On dividends, we made $9,098. And our total for the month of November together was $16,518. In December, for our options, we made $6,357. And for dividends, we made $8,348 for a total of $14,706 for the month of December.
Yep. So, as you can see, the numbers are coming in. But once again, this is not financial advice. Don't do as we do. We're just sharing the information. We are in a bull run, so we don't always expect those numbers to run like that. You're going to have better months. But I'd like to say that this is investments in our individual, which is our taxable account. And it's split between two portfolios we each have at Robinhood. Now, we have retirement accounts, we have other investments, but these are what we're going to be living off of. We get taxed on the now and income now, so we're going to use it to live off of now. We do have other things coming up in the future, but those are not our only income sources. But before we jump away, I do have to say that $125,000 is what we're retired off of in our individual account right now. That's its value right now. It fluctuates. It may go as high as 150, but we are actively still growing it. But these numbers are coming off of that investment every single month. So you have to really ask yourself the old adage, do you need $1 million to retire? And maybe that's not true. So moving forward, we need to talk about other income streams because we do have some other ones. And it's important to mention these. Now, we're not going to put in like side jobs we do or Missy's gig work. If you want a full breakdown of everything we make every month, we're very transparent. We put it out on the community tab of our YouTube channels every month. You can go back and look at all of them. We also post them on our Facebook pages. So if you want to see the real numbers every single month when they come out on the 1st, that's how you do it. Now, we also have Amazon. And all that is when you guys go down and click on links under our videos, it takes you to Amazon. Even if you're buying your own product, it helps support us with a few cents per product you buy. That's all that is. And it doesn't amount to much. Usually it's about $30 to $50 a month, but every little bit helps. Now, YouTube. Now, we don't have paid sponsors. We don't have any of that stuff. What YouTube pays us is just the AdSense, which isn't very much. I mean, you guys may think it is, but after grinding on this for 4 years almost, 2 channels, we end up averaging about $300 to $1,000 a month, depending upon what time of year it is. Last year, I believe we did like $7,500 all year from both channels. Yep. So you're not making a fortune, that's for sure, but it does help pay the bills and it needs to be counted in the numbers. So now, honey, the one thing that a lot of people don't understand in retirement, whether it's the regular strategy, index fund strategy, or our strategy, is drawdown.
So for the month of January, we took our very first drawdown. It's very excited, made Tony a little nervous.
Yeah.
But we took $4,000. Now that paid for everything that we had on our credit card at the time, all of our January bills, and our property taxes.
Yep. The only thing that didn't cover, because the bill had not come in yet, is our health insurance, which projected off what we made this year and what we're going to make next year. Our health insurance would probably make about half of you freak out and lose it because it's $900 and some a month. But it doesn't come in until the 28th, so it will get added in the next month because the way we do it is everything goes on a credit card, pay it off at the end of the month with a drawdown pool. So it's very simple, but you need to understand that if you listen to those numbers, there's variance from 12,000, 14,000, whatever we're making, but we only pulled $4,000 out. That means the rest of that gets reinvested back into the account to grow it bigger. So that's an important distinction. But what is our goal to keep our drawdown at, baby?
Our goal is to keep it in between $4,000 and $6,000 a month. Obviously, there's going to be months that we have higher expenses. Like this month, we had property tax, but yet we didn't really go out a lot because Ohio weather has been great. Well, for most of the country, weather's been great, right? But in the summertime, I'm sure we'll be a little bit higher. We'll have vacations to pay for. So we want to keep our budget in between $4,000 and $6,000 a month.
Yeah, and we'll be sharing our 2025 budget coming up, but it's important to understand that in the first 6 months of the year, basically, we have all of our major bills because we pay a lot of things yearly, like home insurance, car insurance gets paid yearly because we have an older policy, the property taxes, Apollo pretty much has all his vet stuff taken care of. So there was a lot of big bills in the first half of the year. In the second half, we have very few. So that's also the time where we run around and do a lot of things. So it seems to work out pretty good for us here in Ohio. Now, next thing we need to talk about, and probably one that most people don't think about when you sit down and say, I'm retired or I'm financially independent, they don't think about what the next step is because you always need to have a next step. Never rest on your laurels and what you got going on now because that may not work out great in the future. And we want to make sure we're always growing and doing better. So obviously the first thing for future investments would be to reinvest the dividends and options that we're getting. Anything we don't need to draw down out needs to be reinvested, or that money needs to be put to work in some way, shape, or form to at least keep up with inflation. I know that a lot of people will say that's almost not possible. Wait till our investment video comes out. That'll tell you it all, because it's a very aggressive strategy, but over time it's becoming less aggressive and a little safer to allow for a comfortable ride to the future. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is going to be where a lot of this excess cash is going to be going. And the only reason really I think that my wife wants to go out and do gig work is because we are converting our main house that we used to live in into an Airbnb. Now, it is going to be a very large project, and there'll be stages. We're going to do one end of the house is already almost like a mother-in-law suite apartment. So we're going to get that ready and bring in some income off that. But the entire exterior has to be completely redone first, and then a full remodel on the inside, which we will be doing all the work. So it's going to be a long process, and we will probably on the other channel put some information about that as the process goes. We'll see how it happens. But it's going to be a little bit of a longer term investment, but I think over the long term it will pay off, especially if I can find somebody to run it that's not me. That'd be my goal. But with that said, we wanted to come on here and really share with you the basics. I know there's a lot of unanswered questions, and all I can say to you is there's going to be videos coming out to explain every single detail of this, how we did it, what we're doing. We're not telling you to copy us. Don't do what we did. All right, there's so many better investment strategies that'll get you there in your time frame. Now, if you are like, I want to work my job, I love my job, I got 10 years, there's plenty of strategies that over 10 years you can build the wealth. But it's also about making sure you don't have debt. The moment you kill off all your I don't want to, everybody has different words. I say there's good debt and bad debt, but people hate when I say that. But the truth is, if you're making money on debt, then it's okay. And I don't believe that a house is making money on debt. I'm sorry, I don't. Yeah, it appreciates, but once you pay your property taxes, your home insurance, you're not making any money. I'm just telling you now.
That's kind of why we have to do the Airbnb, is because that property has to pay for itself.
Yes.
We don't want to have to keep sinking money into it. So it has to pay the electric bill. It has to pay the taxes. It has to pay the home insurance. So we have to make money off of it somehow, and that's how we're going to choose to do that.
Yeah. We don't want to give the property up, because it'd be easy to say, cash out, take the money and run. But we don't want to give up the property. We appreciate the property and the enjoyment we get out of it. So it has to make money. And that's kind of how everything on this farm has to be. So we hope you enjoyed this little picture into our lives. Our lives are changing. It's very amazing to wake up on a Monday morning, drinking coffee and going, I'm not going to work. And there's like literally blizzard conditions outside. It's negative 12 degrees. And we make a couple $100 each doing options on our phone, sipping coffee, generally not even gotten dressed yet.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on the couch, in shorts, petting Apollo and selling options and making a living, a true living. And I think that will be a big video. A lot of people are going to want to see is how you actually sell options the way we do. And once again, none of this is financial advice, but I'm just going to say, if you educate yourself, you will quickly see that there's free information all over YouTube and websites and stuff. Don't pay someone to teach you how to trade options. Don't gamble. Don't chase yield. But
keep it simple.
If you follow the simple structure of selling options, I promise you will make money. I promise you will make money.
All right. That's for another video, though.
Yes, it is. But with that said, we hope you guys found some kind of information. We know we've been gone for a while. We will have videos coming out probably every 2 weeks.
And we're glad to be back.
That sounds like a lot of work. She says, I'm glad to be back. I'll be editing this video. So.
What else are you going to do with your time?
I got a lot to do. Don't say that. Just because I don't work a job, guys, don't think I'm not running around all day long doing something.
We're both always doing something on the farm. But that's what's kind of nice, because we have the time now.
She's here all the time now.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
But
She's here.
I do love you, and I am appreciating our time together. And we appreciate you guys watching. And with that said, we will see you in the next one.
Bye.